Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown.
You sound. We lost Pat's sound, but everybody, welcome to the Attacking Third on It's a Rap Sports Network. It's Thursday night, pre July 4th weekend show for everyone. Are you there?
I'm here. I think I am. Am I on Earth?
There we go. Yep. We got you. Yep, we got you.
All right.
We
Yeah.
got a pre July 4th
July 4th
show for everyone.
Yeah, we do. You know, it's funny. No Phillies tonight. This is a perfect night for the Attacking Third to really amp up some things. A lot of questions. And I got a lot of things in my mind about this squad. Because before we get started, of course, our main man, Pots and Pans, checking into the show. Hey, everyone from Joe Howe. What's up, Joey?
What's going on, Joe?
You know, Philip, it's been 11 games, Steve, since the Philadelphia Union got a taste of defeat. A taste of defeat. It's been 11 games since they got a taste of defeat. Since April 12th up in New York. All through that time, this team's been a juggernaut. Running down teams. But however, Steve, I got to ask the question about this squad. I know this team's seen up and downs with injuries, call-ups, all that other stuff. So now I wonder if this is on the coach. And you could tell me if I'm wrong. But it's been 11 weeks. But during the course of that time, this team did not put away a legit contender. They've been putting away bottom feeders like Atlanta, like DC, like Montreal, like the LA Galaxy, like Toronto. But where the ties and L's come into place, again, a tie against Orlando, a tie against Columbus, a tie against Miami, an L last week to Columbus. So, and if you really think about the upcoming matchup against out of nowhere red hot Nashville team, well, back on March 16th, Nashville came into Philly and slapped a taste out of Philly's mouth against this Union squad. So let me ask you, is this team a contender or a real pretender?
They're definitely contender. I say. Now, yes, they haven't been able to get over, the hump of beating these top of the board teams, like you said, Columbus, Nashville earlier on in the season, Miami, those teams. But Cincinnati's up there. They beat them, early on in the season. And I would say look at the lineups that were put out there against these teams. Mind you, yes, the game against Miami and the game against the previous game against Columbus, but back in May, those two, you had Ty and you had Uwa, but these last few weeks of these runs, it's not like they've been beating bottom feeder teams with their elite, lineups. These
Right.
guys have been gone. So I think what makes them a contender versus a pretender is that these guys who might have to step up later on in the season, an injury or playoff time, when you're dealing with yellow cards. That was one of the things I want to talk about later on from
Mhm.
this last match, right? You're going to have guys who have had valuable minutes, meaningful minutes that led and contributed to this 11 match win streak that they just had snapped. So I just think that the quality or lack thereof of talent that they've been putting out there in these lineups with a lot of these U2 guys and still being able to be in these games, whether it be a draw or just getting a 1-0 win, 2-1 win, or even in a loss. That loss looked like a good loss. It's not like they just rolled over. They got Columbus got the goal in stoppage time of the first half, and then that second half, that looked like a pretty good team out there that had chances and was capable of winning the game. So, although yes, the big games that they've had where they've dominated and have killed their opponents, they've been weaker teams. Hey, they've handled their business, right? They went out there and handled and did what they had to, pretty handedly. So I think this is a nice stretch of games when you're going to get some of these guys coming back from international duty and injury. These next few matches here, we're really going to see, especially this U.S. Open Cup run that they've been on. They got a game next week, 2 games against the Red Bulls next week, and then Nashville on Saturday. So you got a good chances to bounce back from this loss, start a new streak.
And listen, that's what I want to hear. Before we go any further, of course, got to get in some more of these comments. Joe House says, "Happy 4th of July, everyone." And same to you, sir. Ricky is watching. Happy 4th of July. Thank you, Ricky. He also says, Joe House says, the Union game was on TV last week. I imagine he means a national televised game. He says, it seems like the Union have the best home record in the league. Probably true. I'm not.
I think it's 10 in a
Because
row.
is there a live
10 in a row at home.
10? Wow. And then he goes, there's an MLS game now on TV with New York FC. Yeah, take on Toronto. Yeah, I saw that. I think New York's in the league right now. So like, all right, Steve, to circle back what you brought up, right? They're not a bad team. They didn't get did they get shut out? Yes. They didn't lose. They only lost by 1 goal differential, but it's still a shutout's a shutout. And I get it. They just got Andre Blake kind of back in circle. We knew he was going to have to shake the rust off. We knew he had to get himself really in game form. And there's no really, I mean, you do all the practice you want. Game form is game form. When there's pressure, audience, and all that stuff. But again, you're going to, and I'm going to talk about Saturday's past matchup against Columbus because it looked like Columbus went back to what they originally. It would look like Columbus just played the.
We lost you. Lost your sound. You moved. Look like you moved your mic and we lost you. I'll take over. I have a feeling you were getting ready to talk about Columbus and the way they were able to just start doing, kind of play their game, and kind of do what they wanted, and they found space to get the Union out of their style of play, especially in that first half, and the weather delay I think allowed Carnell to have a little bit of extra time to figure things out and get a better idea of what not to do and what the crew were doing. And credit to the crews. That home field advantage that they have is wild. Those fans were rocking, and that weather delay, I think, helped the Union in a sense. All the momentum was with Columbus with that late goal in stoppage time, where it was really the only time that the Union fell apart. It felt like they really collapsed defensively. It was really the only time in the night where Makana wasn't there to save him. I felt like he was there all night. He was a beast. But go ahead, Pat. What were you going to talk about with Columbus?
No, what I'm trying to say about Columbus is they played their game with stretching the field, cross passes. They know how to pick apart this defense. Hold on, I'll be right. I gotta fix it. One put.
Let's get into some of these comments. Joe, can we call the Union the comeback kids? Possibly. I mean, to go, it's not like they were at the bottom of the board in the Eastern Conference last year, but they weren't a playoff team. So to go from a non-playoff team, what they finished 10th, I believe, around the outside looking in of the playoffs. So to go from 10th to where they are now, sitting in first place, only 1 point though. This was this game against Columbus. I don't want to say it was the game you looked at on the schedule based off of where they were at on the who they had playing based on where they were at on the schedule with the 11 game winning streak. I don't want to say this was a written in loss because this definitely could have been a draw. But you look back at what they were able to do in this unbeaten streak. And I think you
What's
can
up, player?
call him somewhat of a he's back. There we go. Somewhat of the comeback kid.
Yeah. So again, Steve, the way I look at it, again, how did Columbus beat this team? Well, they beat them with long stretch passes, cross passes. They really picked apart this Philadelphia Union defense, and they just played their game. They just know how to score. And you had Muhammad, I don't want to butcher his last name, Farasser. Anyway, he finds the back of the net. Again, it was a great play. And credit to the Columbus, right? They're undefeated at home, the strongest homestand. They went. They're tough to beat at home. It's
one of the best at home.
Not an easy place to play. One of the best, undefeated at home. It's tough to play against. And like I said, they dialed up a great game plan of beating this Union team with long stretch passes, cross passes, where Philly just couldn't keep up. And credit them again on their defense, breaking up plays for the Union. Union really couldn't get nothing going, not until second half, where that's when the Philadelphia Union really started to tack on pressure. Because if you watch, I mean, they couldn't really get anything rocking and rolling. It was all the one-sided show. It was on Columbus. I mean, we started the game with under 10 minutes, and my man Bedoya's got a yellow card right in his face.
Oh, right. I don't even get me started on the yellow cards. It was wild. I mean, Gazdag, he should have been shown a second yellow and should have been tossed out the game I mean, the ref just, I mean, it was like that episode of Oprah. It was like, you get a yellow and you get a yellow and you get a yellow for you. And it was crazy. But um, it, I don't think. What'd you think of the weather delay? Do you think that was a what's going on, Kyle? Um, do you think that weather delay
That's the man
was
right there.
beneficial to the Union, or do you think who do you think it benefited more? Do you think it gave Carnell more time to prepare? Because that second half was night and day compared to what you saw in the first half.
If anything, I think it gave Columbus a little bit more of the ammunition because now
Okay.
he sees the lineup. He knows what he's dealing with. He had time to prep and get ready. Like, you got to remember, probably most times than not, what I want to say about, just say example, the game's at 7 o'clock. Well, they really give out the lineups about 5. So you have to kind of try to dial in. But this gave, all right, listen, we got a little bit of a rusty Andre Blake between the pipes. We could take advantage of this, and let's do that. Let's go take advantage. Let's
Yeah.
go beat them how we gave them the tough time before. Let's roll with the long stretch passes, and that's what happened. And then you got the Philadelphia Union playing off their back feet, backpedaling, trying to keep up. The cross passes hurt. And look, unfortunately, they finish. They finished the game 1-0. So again, disappointing loss for me because we just couldn't get nothing together to score a goal. At least trying to break the tiebreaker, and really didn't get anything going in the first half. Credit to the crew. Credit to the crew for making Philly's life a pain and misery.
It's disappointing because they had their opportunities to get that draw, right? And to continue this streak. I guess now that the match is over and what's the saying? Hindsight is 2020. I'm I'm not upset at the way it all went down, right? You lost to a, a, a worthy opponent. It's not like you went out there and lost to DC, sort of deal, and a team that you shouldn't be losing to at this point of the season. And now it was a draw, a loss. Hopefully, the next time here in the playoffs when they meet again later on in the deep rounds, it'll be the third time. It'll be the kind of the rubber match in a sense, right? You got a draw in the first match. Columbus got the second one. So things hopefully will go well for the Union the third time around if there is.
Well, like you said, we hope and pray that we can even things up. But in hindsight, this is the stuff. These are the kind of matches you want to see this team in. You want to see them play the big games. You want to see what they're like. You want to see what the measuring stick tells you. You want to see what the eye test tells you, as far as, all right, this is a little bit of a competitive team. Let's see. We split the last time it was here. Let's see what we could do in Columbus. Let's see if we could shatter that undefeated streak that's going on in Columbus right now. I mean, that team is untouchable at home. So we have to go shatter that. But again, this was a great test, and it's going to happen again, Steve. This is going to happen coming up this Saturday. That's right. As soon as everyone, I mean, what a perfect way. You enjoy your 4th of July. The day after, you're kind of chill, eating leftovers, and boom, you get a prime time matchup like this. Nashville, Philly, game of the week. I mean, but you're going to need this, like you said. Hopefully, you get everyone back other than Ty Baribo, and just play lights out. You're going to need to play lights out soccer. You have to make a statement. I want them. I want the Philadelphia Union, because I know some people from that front office organization watches this show. I want you guys to prove me wrong. I want you to prove me wrong. Prove me, because I have a doubter that you guys can't get past a true contender. And this Nashville team, Steve, how about this Nashville team? Just came out of nowhere. Just came out of nowhere.
I mean,
And
what
now,
they're on a streak like what the Union were just on, right?
Philadelphia,
An unbeaten
Nashville,
streak.
38 points, 11 wins, 4 losses, 5 ties. So their home record is 6-1-3. Philly's away record is 6-3-1. So it's looking like this is going to be a Nashville game on paper. On paper. And I'm hoping this is going to be the revenge tour. I hope I went, Bradley Cornell going, you know what? You came to my home. You peed on my carpet. I'm going to drop a deuce right on your kitchen table.
And Joe agrees
yes,
with
that's
that.
what
Big test coming up.
big, huge test coming up. The Union playing Nashville on my birthday. Dude, what's up with everybody apparently having a birthday this weekend?
In America having a birthday too. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, only in America. I mean,
Only
I
America.
got cousins. Yeah, I know a lot of people have their birthday this weekend. But so Steve, I mean, again, can this team get the job done out there in Nashville?
I think it's going to come down to who's available. You're not going to, now that Team USA advanced in the Gold Cup, you're not going to have Harriel and McGlynn back now, probably until next week versus Red Bulls. They probably won't be available Wednesday for the U.S. Open Cup match. So you're not going to have them. I think Carnell said that Westfield still isn't quite ready. Ty, they were going to figure out today if he was going to be traveling. And then Uwa was still progressing through treatment. So it'll all depend on who's available and what type of lineup Carnell puts out, because I have a feeling that we're getting towards the end of that what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a special mojo that Carnell had with plug and play, sort of with guys filling spots where it's not their natural playing position. And I'll be honest, I really think that Nathan Harriel has shown how much his value is worth with because him being a Swiss Army knife and being able to play multiple positions, but not just play those positions, he can play them at a high level, right? You had Bedoya, who played great at right back a few matches ago, but this last match you could really tell, like, okay, that was just like a one-off sort of deal. I think this is going to be another match where they have to rely on Makana a lot. He has blossomed into in center back in this league. So I think they have what it takes to at least get a draw. But I'm going to be honest, I can't. I don't see a win. I can see a draw though. Best outcome.
Well, again, it's tough when Nashville has two. Really, they got a 1-2 punch going on out there. They got Sam Syringe, who's got 16 goals. Of course, the playmaker himself. Thank you, Ricky, the man of the hour, the face of Nashville. You got Henry Mukhtar, who's got 8 goals and 8 assists. So, I mean, again, you're going to have to deal with the 1-2 punch. They got playmakers. They got guys who can score. They got a bunch of scoring options. Like I just said, Sam Syringe, who's got 16 goals. Henry Mukhtar's got 8 goals, 8 assists. And now Henry Mukhtar has multiple scoring options where he could go. He could just survey the field. He could just pick this team apart however he shall chooses. And this is going to be not just a big test for the Union Club, it's going to be a big test for Bradley Cardinal. And how is he going to respond to this? Is he going to look towards this as being a revenge factor? Is he just going to say, we're just going to come into Nashville and do the best we can and try to get a win out of this? Like, I'm curious to know. I'd like to be a fly on the wall while he's going through his laboratory of film work and try to beat this team for what he has.
Yeah. I mean, these are, and I was watching today's press conference.
Okay.
It was a short one, but that's because of Cardinal, he wasn't really given anything. It was, one of the questions was, what is the team's like morale, or how is the team going to bring themselves back up or something like that after a loss like this? And Cardinal straight up was just like, there is no bringing it up. No one's down. They felt like they went out there and they gave themselves opportunities to win or at least get a draw, and they couldn't. And I agree with Cardinal. You lost to a worthy opponent in one of the toughest places to play in MLS. It's not like you got blown out. You lost 1-0. He had to bite his tongue a little bit on the post-game conference about the referees and the amount of yellow cards and everything like that. But, there's been plenty of matches throughout this season where the calls have gone the Union's way, right? So you're going to have matches like that where it is what it is, right? That's the name of the game. But yeah, I like how I at least like his mindset. I may not understand his theory at times, but I think that's what I like about it, is that we as fans, right? And we shouldn't understand what the hell he's thinking about, right? In a sense, like I feel like what's behind his method to his madness is why he's at the level he's at. And it feels like he's prepared for these tests. He wants these tests. And again, I think a draw in a versus a team like this, in a playoff atmosphere like what it's going to be, that's with the lineup and the players they're going to have available. I think a draw. I think like a 1-1, because I think their offense, they're going to have to rely on this guy right here who should be playing. I think they're going to have to rely on him this week tremendously.
Is Blake playing? I think he's going to be in the lineup there, Joe. Not known for sure. Ricky says happy 4th, everyone. And he goes, and Joe Hal also says, I think the Philadelphia Union lose this week 3-1 Nashville. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping you're wrong too, because that's the same score that they came into here with. They won 3-1 and being there live, covering that game. I was excited for it, but as the game was going on,
that was a letdown.
It was prime time, Sunday afternoon. That hurt. March 16th. So again, this is time for this team to rebuttal, get some redemption. We'll see who's going to step up in these key situations. And we, like you just said, Steve, one thing about I like from Bradley Cardinal, you don't know what he has up his sleeve. You don't know what he's going to roll out with. Yeah, you might prepare and think that we're going to dial up. We know what he's going to roll with, and no, he's got Plan B, and his Plan B always wins them games.
And that's what the guys are bought into, right? I feel like last season's team lets this loss get to them. There was a lot of other things going on with last season, but so many losses last season, you could see they wore those losses. You could see them walking off the field. You could see their body language. This season, they're so far in between that it's kind of like, it's all right. You're not going to win them all, and they know that, right? So wouldn't you? It's okay to get that loss now in the season than in the playoffs, right? When it matters. But like you said, it's how do they bounce
You
back?
bring up
It's how do they bounce back versus, another worthy opponent.
you bring up an interesting point, and it's going to have me, like you said, there's been stretches of last summer where this team was just laying on the canvas, not getting up, refused to get up at some times. This team here, Bradley Cornell brings the dog out of people. He wants this team being competitive with each other Monday through Friday. And if you're not going to play well and you're not going to participate, there's the bench. You could keep it warm. You could keep it nice and warm, and we can then move on from you. He's letting all the dogs off the leash and seeing which one's got the hungry belly in them, who wants it, because that's what he judges you by. And then, you can prepare for, like I said, all right, Pat and Steve are in the lineup. Wait, they're going with X, Y, and Z today. Who's coming? And then the way he just does his film work. All right, well, I'm going to need you to be explosive in the second half. He's not always about worrying about like the stats. How many starts does Steve have? He doesn't care about that. He wants to know, can Steve put the nail in the coffin in the second half, or can I have him set the tone of the game? He does not care about how many starts you got, all the stat accolades, if you will. He doesn't care. He cares about one thing only: getting a W, playing into that win column. That's all he cares about: getting the team ready to go. Whether the lazy bums of it, he's tremendous player, tremendous.
Look,
Tremendous.
he's proving your theory with, look at how he's playing these Union 2 guys. They're not needed necessarily. He could have played Bruno a lot longer in that game on Saturday than he did. I believe it was in like the middle of the 66, 68th minute. I believe he took Bruno out and brought in Sal Olivas, who I don't necessarily believe is necessarily ready in that spot to be called upon to try and, but hell, if they're ready to play, they're ready to play. He's the one who's seeing these guys in training, and if they're ready to get those minutes, he's not afraid to put them in. Where in previous years, some of these guys were given a longer leash, before Curtin would pull the trigger, necessarily, where Carnell is, hey, I pulled the trigger for a reason to get that sub in. I thought it was right, and it is what it is. And he goes with it. But I think, I think he's got the right idea.
I'm with you. I think like I said, he's definitely got the right idea. He's definitely proved a lot of us media guys wrong of saying, tell the front office, say, hey, this is going to be our coach of the future. Oh, he's already written that story. Now, like I said, let's see him answer this question. Let's see if he could rebuttal against this team. Let's see if he could catch some kind of redemption. Let's see if he could get the dogs even that much more hungrier and take a big chunk out of this Nashville team. So before we go any further, which girl says, Joe Halka says if the Union and Nashville finish tie in the playoffs, what happens for playoff seeding? Steve, you want to take that?
I believe that's where then the goal differential comes into play, which is huge. Why, some games where the Union have been up, 3-1 in instances, like the Miami match, where they had a 2-goal lead and then, they get it trimmed down. They have a huge goal differential right now. I think it's like plus 15. So that's where that comes into play.
Yeah,
Rick, they're live on the 4th of July.
Yes, there is going to be a post game show.
Yeah,
There's a tons of MLS
all
games this
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's pretty spread out. It's pretty spread out. It's spread out nice.
It is pretty spread out. There is actually a couple games actually to look out for. But again, Philadelphia Union will be heading down to Nashville this Saturday night. Steve, let's kind of get it. I think Joe Howe kind of set the segment up for us. Let's go around the league and let's talk about our winners and losers. How did you make out last week? Oh no, because if you did play along, I didn't know if you saw the show, but um, I think I stunk it up last week. I didn't think my picks went well. I don't think any of mine. Did you have any? Dollars and bleeders last week.
I was below 500. I was below 500. Let's just say that with my picks. Your draws
All
didn't
right,
come into play.
No, not at all.
No.
So here we go. Here, okay. So this is today. So New York actually beat up on Toronto 3-1.
Yeah,
That's your final.
look at that.
New York hosting them. New York needed that kind of a beatdown to give. Tomorrow,
nine wins on the season for them.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow you have 3 games at hand. FC Dallas down in Minnesota. Steve, FC Dallas hosting Minnesota. Excuse me.
In that Dallas Heat right now, it's going to play a factor for a team like Minnesota. I think those sort of things, can be, for teams like who play in those high climate, atmospheres, they get that advantage. I think Dallas gets the win.
I'm going to go Minnesota. I'm going to rock with Minnesota on this one. You have Colorado and supporting KC.
I'm going to go with Colorado. Colorado needs they need to keep building momentum to climb, in the standings up. What are they in, like 8th place right now? Yeah, 8th place in the West.
Yeah, somewhere along those lines. They need to get themselves a relevancy like they were last year. I thought they were going to be an upcoming team. Another one. Joe Howe says Minnesota for him.
Minnesota.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw ASAP.
Colorado. He's got Colorado.
He's going to go Colorado. Okay, Joe. Now you got Cincy hosting Chicago.
Cincy hosting Chicago. Yeah, man. I feel like Chicago has the firepower with Cupris to be able to compete with Cincinnati. I'm gonna go with Chicago.
I'm gonna go Cincy a 2-1 win, to be exact.
Cincy 2-1.
2-1. Now they're not gonna blow them off. They're just gonna get squeaked by. I skipped the game for Saturday night, the late night game. Vancouver heading down to LA Galaxy to see the Champions.
I have the upset on the 4th of July. I got the Galaxy. They're not letting Canada get a win on the 4th of July. I got the Galaxy. Galaxy getting a win. 2-1. 2-1.
I call Vancouver steamrolling. 3-0 win there.
I knew it.
This game is actually interesting because Charlotte desperately needs a W. I don't see it. Charlotte's going to host Orlando City.
I got a draw. On this one. 2-2. 2-2.
Okay. Give me I'm going to go another 2-1 Orlando.
Orlando needs it.
Orlando needs it too. DC United hosting Atlanta United.
Oh man. This is like one of those Jets versus the Browns sort of Thursday night matchup on Amazon in the NFL. Give me DC United. I can't stand Atlanta, so it's more of a bias.
I
There
know
we
it
go,
is.
Joe. There we go, Joe.
Yes, Joe's chiming in as well. So Joe, we're going to have to keep your picks as well, my man. You're more like the
He's
family
with
of
you in
you
Orlando,
and Colorado. I'm gonna
Colorado.
go. Yeah, he's gonna. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with you. I think DC holds them off, gets himself a nice little hooray kind of a win.
Yeah, a little pat on the
Montreal.
back.
Yes. Montreal hosting Inter Miami.
What this is, I think, Inter Miami's first game back in MLS play since the FIFA
Yeah.
Club World Cup. I think they're good. Well, I wonder who plays for them. I like Messi and Suarez and those guys actually play. But if the Messi and them boys, if they all play, I got Miami blowing them out like 4-1.
All right, you got Miami. This is the upset for me. Miami's coming out of the cold, coming out of the heat, and right into
Wow,
little some Atlantic blast. Next
it's
on the
legit
sheet,
though.
it's legit. You got Austin hosting LAFC.
Ooh, LAFC, I think just lost um the one big player they had.
Yes.
I can't. His name slipping my head. The European player. I'm gonna go with Austin. I'm gonna go with Austin getting a win over LAFC.
I'm feeling
Heading
you
into
too.
the
So
All
that
Star game too.
yes, I'm gonna go with Austin winning this one. Philadelphia headed down to Nashville. I think we were discussed it. We all going from Nashville. We have Salt Lake City hosting St. Louis.
Ooh, give me Salt Lake. Give me Salt
You're
Lake.
gonna go okay. You're gonna go Salt Lake. I'm gonna go Salt Lake as well. You have next on the sheet. You have San Jose. There you go. There's a roll going Austin on that one. That's weird. They're also running for
That
a
means
Dallas team to win.
LAFC is going to win. That means LAFC
Yes.
is going to win now that we all went off.
So you got San Jose hosting the New York Red Bulls. Sucks for those Red Bull fans that have to stay up till 10 o'clock.
You know, as much as I hate to give New York Red Bulls a win, I think they're going to get the win here. They're one of those teams, them like NYCFC. Both of those guys, I have a feeling, both those New York teams, I think there's only going to be room in the playoffs for one of them. So I got the Red Bulls winning.
Okay. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go a 1-0 win for the Red Bulls. They're going to need that getting ready to face Philly after this week.
Yep.
Okay, Joe. Okay, Joe. He's agreeing with us. Portland hosting New England.
Ooh, I'm going to go New England. I'm going to go New England. I like what New England's been able to do this season. Young team. Give me New England over Portland. Portland, I think, suffered a big injury to one of their big guys. So I like
I'm still gonna roll with Portland. Then you have
you like those states up there. So that's why.
Yes. How can I forget? I am a Northwestern. Apparently, there's some listeners. Then you have San Diego FC hosting Houston Dynamo. Okay, there's
San
Joe.
Diego.
I'm
just
going
think
with you.
San Diego, what San Diego's been able to do this season, franchise first year, their inaugural season, it's been pretty impressive. I think they keep it rolling.
Yeah, I'm with you. Then I got San Diego as well. And then, of course, Sunday's main event matchup at 5 o'clock. You got the Seattle Sounders hosting the Columbus Crew.
I guess it would be considered an upset. Yeah, because but Seattle's coming off an L. They're fifth in the West. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Seattle.
I'm
getting
gonna
a
go
win. 1-0 win, Seattle.
I'm going to go 0-0 draw.
0-0 draw. I like that.
Yes.
I like that. It would be nice because
flat
we
and
talked
boring.
about the Union. The Union are only up 1 point on the table now on some of these teams. So they kind of need some help in a sense, for right now. So
Yeah, that
Joe's
would
got
be
San
nice.
Diego. Ricky's got
Ricky
Colorado.
And the Columbus Crew. He's going with the Columbus Crew. Oh, wow. So,
All right,
yeah,
so
we'll
one
see
of each. You got a draw. He's got Columbus. I've got Seattle.
Okay, we'll see what happens. But
One will win.
Steve, before we roll here, any, I guess, 291 Broad Street bottom lines as we head into this weekend?
I would just say that the bottom line is don't lose faith, in the team. If anyone is, just because they couldn't get over the hump of either, beating or, drawing versus an elite opponent. It's not like they got blown out. They just got done an 11-game unbeaten streak. So let's see. They got a next week. It's all Red Bulls week. Two matches versus them. You got Nashville, and then after those 3 games, you kind of got a nice little a break kind of in the schedule, in the sense of the type of opponents that they're playing. So no need to panic just because the streak of unbeaten streak is over, and just get back to playing their style of ball, which I think they will.
All right. And for me, well, first of all, Joe Hale says, don't turn the ball over. Apparently, Ricky is a Colorado fan. Okay. Thanks for letting us know that. But for me,
he's a Coors Light guy then, if he likes that.
Yeah.
If he likes Colorado.
Steve, I'm going to go, my Broad Street bottom line would be just play heavy on defense. You're dealing with Mukhtar on the field. You're going to play lockdown defense. Sam Syringe, a guy who's got 16 goals, is honestly no joke. Again, just play lockdown, protect whoever's in net between Blake or Rick. Just protect them at all costs, and the offense will take care of the rest. But listen, for me, Steve, thank you so much there, Joe Howe. We definitely appreciate you chiming into the program. For me, Steve, guys, enjoy your 4th of July. Again, enjoy some MLS soccer, and we will be back to you next week. Guys, stay tuned, stay good. And guys, I believe at the top at 10 o'clock hour, my man Matty B will be hosting his show, The Final Words. Guys, all that and more coming up. Catch you guys. Have a great one. See you later. Bye-bye.